Sean Capri. Welcome to We the GamerCast, that publishes on podcast services and youtube.com/YumiCapri every single Monday. Patrons get it first. Thank you for subscribing, hitting the like button, leaving a comment for that sweet, sweet engagement juice, and telling your mom and telling your dad and telling your friends, telling your cousin's friends, and that weird person who kind of shows up at parties every once in a while. Thank you for telling him. At least you have something to talk to that person about. It's We the GamerCast. Thank you guys so much for being here. That hay kind of put me a little bit out of breath. I am about to go skiing with my son Lincoln, and I'm very excited, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself because if you're new, here's the deal. Every week I have sweet hangs with a stranger or a longtime friend from the internet, and we talk about life and video games. And if you want to be on the show, it's pretty easy. Just tweet at me at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Now, to be fair, like I am about as out of shape as I have been in my life, but one of the reasons I am so out of breath, I think, is because I just did that intro 3 times, and they didn't sound very good. I'm feeling good about that last hey, but, you know, when you do this thing in the morning, you got to warm up those vocal cords a little bit. I just kind of like wipe the sleep out of my eyes, say hi to the family, run down the stairs, and I go, hey, and I go like, oh, that didn't like sound like I was 12. I got a little cracked voice. You know, I got to warm up. I got to do my scales. Do, re, mi. I got to do all that kind of stuff, you guys. Goodness gracious. I'm so glad you're here. Johnathan Brown is my guest. We're going to get to him in just a second, and this is a tale and an ongoing story with him of just how to be a wonderful person, man. I swear to goodness, I'm really glad to just know Johnathan Brown, but I'll get to that in a minute. I want to thank everybody who's already left a Apple Podcast review. There's tons over there, and if you haven't gotten around to it, it really helps the show grow. And the other thing I want to say before I get into the Patreon stuff is the BackTrackers are back. It's a community-driven video game book club. Marcus O'Neill and Delroy, previous guests, you guys can hear them chat on the show. You go back into the archives. Good friends of the show, good friends of mine, and they are leading something that I think this time I might join in, you guys. I think I might actually do this one, and that is playing a video game and then jumping on a Discord call and talking about it, man. It's like a book club. You guys know the deal. The game this time is Spiritfarer. It's a nice little indie game. It is available on Game Pass, but you can get it on all other platforms. And we're all meeting up in the Discord. Links in the show notes, and it's free. You don't have to be a patron to be in the Discord. Saturday, March 5th is your deadline, so let's beat this game. Let's play it. You actually don't necessarily need to beat it if you want to join in. You know, you do whatever you want, but I think there is going to be some spoiler talk. But yeah, it's kind of a nice little hang on a Saturday morning. March 5th, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll continue to talk about that as we get closer and closer, but jump on in. As if there's not other games to play, though. Am I right? Holy crap. I need to get to Pokemon. I've got a whole bunch of other things I'm kind of excited about. I'm watching Dying Light 2 very closely. This patch situation. I'm curious to know if it's going to come down in price, because I'm kind of cheap like that, but we'll get to that maybe in a little bit. As I talk to you right now, my legs are sore, you guys. And I was actually just chatting with Court Lalonde a minute ago over text, and I said, I'm kind of feeling good about this. This feels like it's debilitating a little bit. It's hard to like get up off the ground or off a chair and out of bed and move around and everything, and I'm feeling slow, and it's that soreness. And but it's good, because I haven't felt like soreness in a long time, which means I haven't like done anything in a long time. I'm actually enjoying this. I got to get my stretches on, but that's good, because you know why I'm sore? Because earlier this week I got on my bike, and I got a couple good bike rides actually, indoors, of course, like kind of like a spin thing, and did a little yoga, did some skiing last night by myself. I got off work and I just drove to the local ski hill and put in a couple hours straight of just some nice skiing. I had podcasts going in my ear, listening to PSVG with the Shack Attack, that's Shack crossover, and then Trophy Room, of course. And it was just nice to, like, you know, go down the hill, listen to some podcasts, have some solo me time. This is like classic introvert recharge, man. Like that was a perfect evening for me. I treated myself to a hot chocolate from McDonald's because I'm a child, and it was a good time, man. So feeling pretty good. Hopefully you guys are doing great as well. And one of the things that continues to lift me up is the ongoing support at patreon.com/YumiCapri. We crossed over 70 patrons very recently. Well, more importantly, we crossed over 69 patrons over there. And I'm giving myself a deadline. By this time next week, we will have the illustration of Ryan Turford riding a moose over on patreon.com/YumiCapri. You can think of it like an NFT, but it's not at all. It has nothing to do with the blockchain. It's just a picture, I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about. Speaking of NFTs, though, I kind of went on the I went on a tour this week actually, and went on a couple podcasts you guys can check out. Xbox A, speaking of Court Lalonde, youtube.com/XboxA. The A is kind of like but it's like Canadian excitement, so it's like A. You guys, you know what I mean? So youtube.com/XboxA. We talked about NFTs. We talked about acquisitions and the changing landscape in the video game industry. Very, very interesting conversation with Matt Midwood, Court Lalonde, Steve Vevgari. Just amazing Canadian handsomeness. Goodness gracious. Very lucky to have been a part of that. Also, co-op mode with Todd Oxtra and Mark the Canadian Carabin. Longtime friends. And we talked a lot about a lot of stuff, including the Nintendo Direct. How about the Nintendo Direct, by the way? That might be why I'm a little out of breath. I'm a little shaken up. Holy crap. That thing was incredible. You can hear me talk all about that on co-op mode. As well as Todd and I had, I think, a really good and interesting conversation about Tales of Arise. He is not all about it, and I just kind of got to relive why I love it so much. So check that out, co-op mode. And finally, the Nintendo Dads had me on. I had kids so that I could be on the Nintendo Dads, and we went into a little bit more depth, I would say, on that there Nintendo Direct. So check that out. Oh, the other thing about the Nintendo Dads, like Jesse was there. If you guys listened to it, like he was there, but he was speaking like a text-to-speech thing because he wasn't feeling so great, and that alone is worth checking that episode out. So, man, been busy. I'm so glad you guys are here for this ride, especially all of our patrons at patreon.com/YumiCapri. And I want to take a quick moment to thank our incredible premium producers, Dallas Ford, Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. And you can join me and the rest of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team at extra-life.org. Raise money for those kids. Johnathan Brown, my guest today, and he happens to be the man behind the music on the Xbox Drive and the Nintendo Drive. You can download his latest album, In My Element, on Spotify and Apple Music. Our platinum producers, Robbie Bobby Miller and Trucker Sloth. Trucker Sloth, hopefully you're doing okay, my friend. Big times, big week for you, my friend. Gold members, Argo, Brendan Myers, Dallas Robbins, Dano, Emily O'Kelly, Foolish Fuji, Joel Brooks, Jose Jimenez, Mac Time, Marcus O'Neill, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, RJ Kern, Skinny Matt, Tony Baker, and Xavier Reyes. Guys, speaking of Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, holy crap. Did you guys see that YouTube video? Game Nasty, youtube.com/Game Nasty. I'm sure they've got their custom URL by now because the community has absolutely wrapped their arms around these two. Got them to 100 subs at very critical milestone, youtube.com/Game Nasty. I'm just taking a guess, but if you search for Game Nasty, you'll find it. Their first video, I finally convinced my girlfriend to play Resident Evil, is amazing. And my cat is here. You're going to ruin the podcast. I got to get to the thing. Thank you guys for supporting us at patreon.com. If you guys want to help support the show, keep the dream alive, keep us moving, keep us growing, go to YouTube, patreon.com/YumiCapri. Choose the tier that is right for you now. The time has come. Johnathan Brown is just an exemplary human being. He's a wonderful friend. I am so fortunate to have him in my life. And anybody who is friends with Johnathan Brown, like, you guys know exactly what I'm saying. He's wise beyond his years. He's always thinking of others. He's totally selfless and happens to be quite talented as well. I've been featuring his music here on We the GamerCast over the last couple of weeks, introing the shows. He does the intro music for the Xbox Drive and the Nintendo Drive. And I want to keep seeing him grow, man. I love the progress that I'm seeing from him. I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation with him. Here he is, my good friend, Johnathan Brown.
Yesterday was also the same night that I found out that my laptop was not working. So, I was kind of like,
oh, really? Okay. Oh, I feel way better now.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to use my my laptop. My phone. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I thought we were going to do it on Skype. That's why I was like, okay, cool. I can do it like that. But then I don't know how long you've been doing it like
I'm
this.
Gonna change things up. Should we go back to Skype? What do you think? Like, every time I try to go venture off into something else, it's like I just end up back at Skype.
I mean, if you want to go back to Skype, we can go back to Skype.
Would it help you at all? Would it? I feel like it probably doesn't really change anything.
Oh no, it doesn't change anything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I already have my little brother's laptop. Yeah.
If
we did Skype, it would just be on my phone, and there's nothing really different. So,
how little is your little brother?
He is 16.
Okay, yeah, that's not probably still.
And he's not little. He is the same height as me. He's weighs more than me. He is bigger than me.
Okay.
So it doesn't even.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was just.
But you'll always
talking
refer to
one of
him
my
as little
friends.
brother.
You said what?
You'll always refer to him as your little brother. Like that's.
Well, yes, he'll always be my little brother.
He's always
But
younger than you, but little.
Exactly. I don't care how big
Mhm.
he is. I'm still older.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Can't take that away.
Exactly. I was talking to my friend from when I was in college for the one semester, and I was like, because he asked about him, and I was like, yeah, he's bigger than me, the same height as me, and I was like, you don't know how much it crushed me when my mom ended up coming in here and asking me, hey, Josiah can't fit these shoes. Do you want them? And I was like, no. I was like, I want them, but I can't, I can't take that.
Oh
Also,
my god, that's so
question.
funny.
Is my audio little thing underneath the screen supposed to be moving?
I can see it moving.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if like I was not supposed to see it moving or not, because I noticed on my end it wasn't. Sorry, but yeah.
No, you're good. I got backups and everything, man. I'm recording us twice.
Cool.
You don't got to worry about that. Only Bad Bit runs with just like a single recording. I'm like, you crazy, man. You crazy. There's no way.
He just has like, crazy faith in the fact of his one thing will be good.
Oh man, I've lost I feel like I probably lost an episode with you, actually. Like, but maybe not. Definitely Ed Placencia. I've absolutely lost an episode with him. And there's nothing quite like losing a podcast, man. And it's always the great ones too. Lost to the ether. But instead, I just have a cat who apparently wants to come say hi through the door here. I don't have the dogs anymore. I just have this cat who is louder than my actual dogs were. How does that work? What in the crap, man?
The cat is the only one now. So now the cat is like, I reign supreme.
That's true. Well, he always kind of just seemed a little, too big for his britches. Hey, while we're kind of chatting here, I want to like break the fourth wall a little bit. Recently, I received some feedback that maybe like starting the show kind of like mid conversation might throw some people off. I'm curious to know your thoughts on that. And if that's the case, what's the alternative? How else do you start a show like this? Like, how do you jump into the conversation that you and I are having right now? Let's like produce it as we talk.
See, I like when the conversation, I mean, for this podcast, I like when the conversation just kind of, it just jumps in, because it gives you the feeling of, oh, I just walked in on this conversation.
Right.
And I think people just want you. I think people want you to introduce the podcast, but it's not that type of podcast,
Yeah, like what if I just stopped and said, "Hey, JB, like I'm glad to have you on the show, man." Good to see you.
Like I feel like that. I'm not gonna say it ruins the flow, but it kind of like, I don't know. I feel like because every time I've been on, we've just started talking. Right. It hasn't been a thing where it's like, oh, everybody, hello, welcome to We the GamerCast. I have John, like, it's just been us talking.
Yes.
And I guess it's just because your podcast is so different from everybody else's that everyone, like, people kind of want you to be like, oh, introduce the show, introduce the guest. And it's not the type of show.
Right, because that's how other shows go. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, and I feel like, I don't know, this might go back to like a different version of We the GamerCast, or maybe it was a different type of show. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I remember being on a podcast. I remember guesting on, and I hopped on the call, whatever it was, Skype or whatever it was back then. And like we had a great conversation. We're all catching up and like, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, and then it was so abrupt and go like, okay, guys, are you ready? Good. And then we stop. And then it was sort of like this awkward, and here's the intro that everybody gets to listen in on. And hey, how are you? And I don't know, like, and to some degree, that's what the Xbox Drive does and all my other shows do. But for this, I don't know, for somebody where I'm not talking to you on this show every single week.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's just jump on a call and people get to listen in on it.
I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. I have no issue.
Thanks, man.
Because like I said, it's just more of peeking into the conversation between two friends. Or two
so instead of like the music, maybe instead of the music kind of intro, we have like this creaking door, like you're sneaking on in and you're tiptoeing.
Oh, that would be dope. That would be dope. Like
you fly in, you're a fly on the wall to our super secret conversation.
That's what I see this podcast as. It's just like you're a fly on the wall in a conversation. Because I mean, most of the stuff, it's so seamless where it's just like, honestly, every episode seems like you would have that conversation normally with somebody.
Oh, big time.
Like,
yeah.
Even if you weren't recording, it's like, okay, this is just a normal conversation. And we just happen to have, other people listening and recording and stuff like that. So it's like, I enjoy it.
For the most part, I don't really, other than like right now where we're really like we're really being kind of meta here. I really don't think about people listening, honestly. But lately it's been kind of nuts. I don't know. The Discord is kind of popping off these days. The community is just like, they're there. Yeah. And even just like the notion, I feel like for the guests more so even than me, like for a guest to get feedback from the audience, from the community to say like, hey, I listened to your episode, right? Because it's theirs. It's their moment. Yeah. I feel like that's something that is really that's really cool. And I feel like generally speaking, we kind of cover so many different areas of conversation that it will hit different people in different ways. Some people might go, yeah, that first part that you talked about, like that's what I was really into. Or some people might jump in to say, I'm glad you covered this part of the conversation. So I don't know, man. It's just, I'm doing a little navel gazing, but I feel like, we can do that together a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So how are you though, man? Enough about me and my stuff. What's going on with you?
I'm chilling. I said it earlier. I was like, this week, I mean, it's only Tuesday, and it's this whole laptop situation has me kind of frazzled. But I'm good. Besides that, I'm scared.
Well, the laptop situation is kind of central to like a lot of going on in your life, man.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought about when I was like, please, dear God. I was like, no, I don't. This is the worst thing that could happen right now.
What's happened? Like, so battery is dying on it, or like what's malfunctioning exactly?
I'm going to tell you the story of what happened first, and then I'm going to describe what I have gathered so far.
Okay.
So, what I normally do is I'm playing the game on the Switch on the TV, and then I'm watching YouTube on my laptop, just kind of listening to it. So I'm listening, and then all of a sudden I just hear it like cut off. I'm like, what? And I'm assuming it's dead. But then I also look to the left of it and notice that the charger is still in. So I'm like, okay, it can't be dead. So I try and turn it.
The MacBook?
Yes, it's a MacBook Air 2017. But I click the power button, and most of the time when I click the power button, it's more of a like, just I click it and it usually turns on. But now I'm like holding it for a very long time, and I've also noticed that when I hold it, it usually plays like a little power up sound. If I let go in the middle of the power up sound, it'll just stop.
Oh, that is so weird.
So I'm like, okay. So I've like hold it to let it power on all the way. And then the first couple times I was doing this, it got to the login screen, but then it's like cut off. So I'm like, okay, let me try and move faster. Let me see if I can at least log in and get to the screen, then maybe it'll stay there. Yeah, my logic, right?
No, I love it. It's like the Dark Souls of laptop operation. Just like you gotta tackle this boss a little differently, man. So very precise.
I do that, and then like it stays on for a little bit. I'm like, okay, cool, and it turns off. I'm like, crap. So then like probably like a couple times after that, the laptop would stay on, but if I let it if I let it go to sleep, it'll turn off.
Yeah.
Like it won't just go to sleep. It'll turn off. Like I'll try and move the mouse and like just for the screen to light up, or at least for the keyboard to light up. Nothing. So
it's kind of like if you get a concussion. That's really like what happens. You get a concussion, you shouldn't go to sleep because you might not wake up again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Kind of dangerous.
So it's a very dangerous game.
Yeah.
So I was like, the first thing I have to do is Google.
Yep.
So I was Googling around, and I mean, a lot of the stuff mainly pertained in saying like, oh, the battery is probably messed up and you probably need another battery. And then a couple people, it was like something with the software itself, and it was like there's a way to kind of like not reset the software, but more correct the software. So I did that, whatever that means. Did that, didn't do anything. I was like, okay, whatever. So I've just came to the conclusion of it probably is the battery, because a while ago I got a notification on my laptop. Like, I turned it on and the little battery icon was red, even though it was all the way full. And it was like, your battery is a bit damaged and it's not holding a charge. So you may want to think about getting a replacement or something like that. So I'm like, okay, it probably is just that.
So that seems like, there could be worse scenarios. You could have like a dead or dying hard drive of some sort of processor or whatever. It's like, at least you're not, and I don't know if I'm sure you're starting to at least think about, if you haven't already, like backing up your stuff, probably a thing.
It's not
JB.
backed up to the day, but
Ribo. What is it called? What do they call it on Mac? The time machine thing? What do they call it?
Yes, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But it's not backed up to the day, like the day it happened.
That's fair.
But
that's fair. I don't think
it is backed up at least from last month.
It's not bad.
But now,
better than most.
Yeah, most definitely. So now that this has happened, I am going to make it a routine that at least twice a week I am backing up my hard drive.
So smart. And that's just it. Like, if you can skirt disaster, not dive right into it, then that's what kind of prompts you to set up your backups properly. You're in a good spot, man.
Exactly. See, it's funny.
Is it in front of you? Like, do you have your laptop right there in front of you, like with you?
I have it with me right now.
Is it plugged in right now? Like, do you have it like in that situation?
Oh no, it's not plugged in. It's just here.
Because I wanted you, every episode of this show is going to be a little bit different, and what I would love to have is kind of like a moment here, if you'll indulge me even just a little bit. If you are able to plug it in, can you plug it in and is it like a MagSafe situation? This thing, like the magnet thing that's sort of like, okay.
It is a MagSafe. Indeed.
Okay. So I had, once upon a time, I did have a Mac at work, and I had a very similar situation. Everything that you just described to me with the power button and the battery health and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And so I thought this thing was dead, but then I accidentally discovered a solution that worked, at least for a little bit, but and you'll see in a moment why this is the case, but the MagSafe was kind of like, it's super convenient, but in this case, it's maybe not the greatest thing ever. But if you have it, I'm vamping a little bit to maybe buy you time to actually plug it in. Do you have it all? Do you have it plugged in?
It is plugged in. It is plugged in.
Okay. Power to the wall. Everything, like, it's all okay. So can you take out the battery for me?
Can you remove the battery out right now? Because I don't have any. I don't have screws. I mean, the screwdrivers.
What in the world is this Mac? You have to have screws to remove this battery. Oh, damn it. Oh, I was hoping for a moment. What I'm hoping for and what I suggest, maybe look into it. Maybe you let me know, because maybe I'll have it as part of like the outro here to see if this actually worked. Remove the battery and just see if it works just plugged in without the battery installed.
Okay.
And that might seem like kind of weird, but that's how I had to use my MacBook for quite a while. Actually, was no battery in it at all, just the gap, which was kind of nice because the battery's pretty heavy and I didn't have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah. True.
But yeah, like I took the battery out and just had it plugged directly into the wall, and it worked perfectly fine. And just bought me, at least I could operate it.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, this MagSafe situation, it's there so that if you were to trip on the cord, you don't damage anything. But if you trip on the cord and you got no battery in there, that thing is just going to shut off.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
just a straight.
Yeah,
that's a death sentence to most computers, I think. So you got to be careful about
that.
Game over. Maybe just super glue it into place. Maybe that's my official
I think that'll work.
tech support. One way or another, I think we're just going to give Ribo a heart attack as he listens.
Oh, yes, for sure. Ribo now is going into cardiac arrest. Because we most definitely... I think he's probably shitting himself right now at the idea that you took the battery out of your old MacBook and just kept it plugged in.
Well, look, it wasn't like I was not anticipating this screwdriver situation, because you have to remember, I'm old. The MacBook I'm talking about was it was like a 2007 version, and it just like clipped out. Just like my,
literally 10 years. 10 years ahead.
Oh, dude, like at least more than that. It's probably 15 years ago. The MacBook from 2007, something like that. Because I was at work at 2009 and it was old by those standards. Ooh. So, but even my PC laptop right now, I can take the battery out, no problem. It's just a little like flick of a little switch in the back.
I think even with this one, I believe I can also. Well, I see some screws back here.
Screws. Don't do anything. Don't do anything screwdriver related. I actually don't know if that's the case, and I don't know enough to guide you in any other way. I feel like it's hard to believe that you need to take a screwdriver to this thing, but what did you say it was an Air? Was it MacBook Air?
Yeah, MacBook Air 2017.
Yeah, that might be different.
So
that sounds more like a glorified iPad, you know.
It really is, in all honesty. It's just
an all-in-one kind of thing.
But I still love it. It's still my baby.
Well, it inspires you, man. It gets you making all the music. Tell me about this In My Element, man. I'm listening to it on pretty much on a daily basis. I have a really important question for you. I need to get to the bottom of this. People have surely listened to it.
Let's do it.
Who is snoring in this album?
Nobody.
Where is the snoring sound effect coming from?
You know, I wish I would have took myself snoring. I wish I would have done that, because that would have been so dope. Because I know friends that, you know, have caught me asleep and then decided, okay, I'm just going to record this because it's fun. Because something else that I do is I talk in my sleep. So
there's a song right there. Nice.
Yeah, I know, right? But I talk in my sleep sometimes. So if I'm ever around friends and I fall asleep, or if I'm like staying at somebody's house and they catch me about to start sleep talking, then usually they start recording, and it usually has snoring in there. But I have no idea who the hell the snoring that is. I don't even remember if I got that from like YouTube or if I got it from somewhere else. I can't remember.
Well, the funny thing is, I was just kind of like listening to like just all the way through, and I can't remember exactly what order I was hearing it in, but I'm pretty sure that snoring thing happens, and then later on is a track called Bobby. So where it actually has like his voice kind of like appears in one of the tracks, which was amazing to hear, and I didn't know that was going to happen. So when it showed up, it was a genuine surprise and a nice moment for me. But like, I've had the opportunity to like spend some really good time with Bobby, and I've heard him snore, and I'm like, is that a Bobby snore? Like, did you somehow get like, did you get him in addition to that? But because I could see it,
Been fire if I could have done that. That would have been so dope.
Somebody has that. Maybe Carrie's got a recording of him snoring or something.
Probably. Now I'm gonna text her after this. I'm gonna text her tomorrow and ask her.
Well, you know, I joked about like that being that's not the important question about the whole album. But tell me about like putting it together, man, because I feel like you've got like EPs like all over the place. You've been creating tracks. Is this the first like full length album for you?
Nah, but well, you know what? I think I would actually, yes. I think I would consider this my first, because now I'm really thinking about it. Like, this was the first time where like I took all the tracks, and I put them into one like track into my my DAW, which is my digital audio workstation. I put them all in there in order, and I like actually made transitions for everything, and I made sure that like, you know, like everything kind of glided into the next one. So honestly, I think I would consider this like my first like real project, because the other two, especially the very first one, the first one was literally just me taking songs that I had that I was like, oh yeah, this song will be good. Like 2020, like that. I was like, I'm just gonna put songs that I like, and I just put them on there. And then Ready Player One was like not Ready Player One, it's just Player One. Player One was like kind of the middle ground of me being like, oh, these songs kind of work together, but it's not like a complete idea. Right. This one, I feel, is actually a complete idea.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy that you said that, because I'm glad that, you know, people are recognizing that, yeah, this is like a complete thing. Like, this is one whole thing together.
Well, for me, it's like, I don't know, it hit at the exact right time where I'm really trying to kind of do a better job of just having music in my office space here. I'm here all the time, and I struggle a little bit to kind of find like what the right fit is for, I don't know, like definitely a vibe that I'm looking for. I definitely don't want to have, as much as I enjoy all types of music, it's like I'm working on some various projects, and for whatever reason, maybe it's not the time for Korn or like whatever metal music or whatever else. Like this album, what you got is perfect. And it's the what you said about it being like a complete thought is what is exactly what I'm looking for right now. And it's like, this is why I keep talking about it at the beginning of the show, where it's like, even if you're not into this type of music, like you just put it on and you kind of just have it as like your space music, your space vibe. It's so nice. And like, it doesn't, you don't jar from one song to the next song. It just kind of blends in, and it's very easy to listen to. And I don't know, it seems like you've really kind of just taken it up a notch, and it does seem like you've thought about this in a way that seems different. I think you explained it really nicely. Like, you can see, if you've been following your music this entire time, that you've been learning the whole time. You've been just like,
Yeah.
and I think that's really courageous to put something out there and go like, could it be like, is there something else that I will learn and put out something later? Probably. But right now, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm putting out. And you don't get to like in my element without doing everything that you've done up until this point.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy because like I said, I was actually out of town just a second ago, well, out of my city just a second ago, at my old college at Pembroke, and I was with my roommate or whatever, and he showed me a very old project that I helped him with, because in one of his classes he needed to. They basically said make a song, so he decided to do a cover of a song at the moment that was popular, and just like listening to that, I'm like, yo, like, even though it's not like my production, I put the vocals together and stuff like that. And it's just like, and even because I do it sometimes where I go back and just listen to older stuff. Like, I mean, all my songs I listen to because I also enjoy my music. So, like, I go back and listen to it, and it's like, it's certain things I would change, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't change it because at that time, that was, I'm not gonna say perfect, but that was my best.
Yes.
And now, like, listening to 2020 compared to listening to In My Element, you can tell that I have grown, like you said. Like, it's definitely a progression. I'm glad that it happened that way. I'm glad it wasn't just like, oh, I make music at this level and this level only.
Right. Yeah, because it can be really easy even to just like discover something that you like and that you enjoy, and then just like keep making that forever. Are there artists that you follow or bands or anything that you've kind of like, that you're not necessarily emulating the sound, but like emulating more so like the progression, or you see somebody kind of continuing to explore the space and continuing to explore like different types of sounds? Like, this isn't exactly a one-to-one comparison. It's a completely different type of music, but I can't help but think about when I think about a band who easily could have just like milked the sound. You have a band like AC/DC who just like really didn't change. AC/DC was the same from the beginning until the end. Or you have a band like Linkin Park, who I would say like the first two albums pretty similar, and like the second album, Meteor, is like kind of like your typical sequel, bigger, badder, more explosions kind of thing. But like, they really refuse to do the same, and almost to like the chagrin of the fan base, they really risked a lot by going like, we don't want to make the same album twice over. And so I'm curious, like, if that, like, those are the bands that come to mind for me when thinking about this progression notion. But are there artists that you think about when you think that you want to continue to grow and put out something that isn't exactly the same as your last effort?
It's a couple. Like, honestly, it's a lot of artists, because I listen to a lot of music. I'm gonna be honest. I listen to a lot of music, and I watch a lot of producers. Like, besides just listening to, because I mean, I mainly listen to hip hop, R&B, rap, freaking blues, jazz, all that stuff. But listening to that, like, it's not just in a situation with rock, where it's like everybody in a lot of the rock bands are playing their instruments and singing these things by themselves, compared to a rapper like Jay-Z or somebody like that, who, he might have his hands on it, but this is somebody else's beat. So going back to the actual question, one person I could say for sure is T-Pain, because T-Pain does a lot of his own production, and you can hear him grow. You can see the way that he has grown with his stuff like that. Like, a lot of his older stuff is very different from a lot of his newer stuff. And I mean, even just it being a change of times. It's like you're still growing, and he is somebody I really look up to because he never really gave in to whatever the trends were, at least
Right.
in the space that he was in. Like he never gave in to being like, oh, I'm gonna do the mumble rap thing, or oh, I'm gonna
Yeah.
do like all this trap stuff. I'm not gonna do that. He was like, I'm still gonna do what I do. You
Thank
know?
God.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, T-Pain is a really big inspiration. It's another person, and I just want to mention him just because I freaking love him. He's a producer. His name is Decap, and I'm gonna be honest, the song Element on the album 100% is inspired by Decap,
I
because
love it.
Decap's sound is just like, it's something about it. Like he has this bounce. He has his whole like tag, or like his slogan is knock, because he wants to make your speakers knock. He wants to make it so like your speakers are booming, and like all his beats are just so like bouncy and just funky, and ooh, I just love it. I just love it so much.
Dude, I love that. And actually it's like you read my mind, because it's not like there's not like a lyrical element to this, pardon the pun. It's not like you've got like poetry kind of happening here. And so, but what I want to ask you is like, is there something like, without words, is there something that you want to say through this music? And is it possible to do that, or is it more of something that you want to achieve, or is it a certain sound that you want to convey? Like, what's the communication that you kind of get across when creating an album like this, where it's really just it's music? It's not necessarily like a lyric.
Honestly, it's more of like, it's not really a message, or it's not really like something like that. It's more of the feeling.
Yeah.
And like
Yep.
the first song I think about, and it's not even really on in my element, but the first song I think about is Puzzle. Like when I made Puzzle, at first, I was telling James this a while ago, when I made Puzzle, I was gonna sell it at first and put it up on my BeatStars. But like after a minute of really listening to it, I was like, nah, like I gotta keep this one. And I don't know what it was about it, but I was like, I just have to keep this one. So ended up keeping it, and then like I kind of sat on it for a little bit. And then afterwards, like one day I was just listening to it, and I was like, I don't know what it actually wait, pause, back up a little bit. It was one day, the picture that the picture for the album is something that I kind of did. It was just one day. Honestly, I just wanted a new background for my phone, and I just had the idea in my head where I took one of the pictures that I took when I was out of town, and I just traced over it with this white. And when I was doing it, I was like, oh, that looks really dope. And then like I put this little cloud above it, and I was like, that looks cool too. And then for some reason, just puzzle pieces popped in my head.
Yeah.
So when I did it, I did that, and I was like, cool. And then like when I was looking at it, I was like, I'm gonna use it for album cover. I don't know what album, I don't know what song I'm gonna use it for, but I'm gonna use it for something. And then when I got home, I don't know if it was the same day or if maybe it was a couple days after that, I ended up like listening to Puzzle, and I was like, I don't know what it was about it, but I was like, this is the song. And just kind of like the migration of both of those, like I said, it's not really a message I'm conveying, it's a feeling. Like the feeling that I get from this is like, it's weird to explain, but it's like I think about y'all. Like I think about you, think about Bobby, think about Carrie, freaking both the Joes, Joseph and Joe After Work, Rybo. Like I think of all y'all, plus like all the other people. I think about everything that's happened in my life, and I don't know why, but that's why when I called it Puzzle, that's why I called it Puzzle, because I was like all of y'all in a sense, and I kind of feel like this is like how everybody can kind of see life, kind of is like all y'all are puzzle pieces in my life that make me. So like the things that I love, and like the people I love are like the things that make me. Like I don't know if you remember when I did it, but like I really loved the way I did this rollout for it. Was I made how many P-U-Z-Z-L-E? I made 6 videos, right? I think it might have been 7. But I made like 6 or 7 videos, and each of them centralized around one thing. And it was just something that I loved, whether it be like something small or big. Like I think the first video was like Billy Hatcher or something like that, which very small niche thing, but I still love it. Like I still consider it a part of me. The second one was Kingdom Hearts. Another one I believe was music. I can't remember. but one was for y'all. I really cannot remember what the rest of these were, but every single one of them led up to this very last one, which was just a whole bunch of videos of me being goofy and just videos that other people have captured of me. And like I said, like I feel like it goes back around to the whole point of the song. To me, made me think about how y'all make me. So I believe personally, just for most of my music, it's not really about the message that it has. It's more about the feeling it gets, because I am very passionate about music. Like, I get emotional about it sometimes. Like, if I'm listening to a song and it just like, I don't, even if it's a happy song or just like upbeat, if the production is just right, like I'm gonna cry. I may cry.
I'm with you, man.
Or I may just shed like one of them real good happy tears. You know, I may get like really excited about it. But like that's the feeling I had with Puzzle and with even with Element. When I made Bobby, I had the same feeling. Like a lot of the songs that I'm starting to make now, I'm really getting like this deep rooted connection with them. And like I want to share that with y'all. So when I make these things, really at the end of the day, I'm doing it because I want to share my passion with y'all, and I want y'all to possibly feel the same way about one of the songs that I make that I feel about like just any random song that I listen to.
When I love listening to you kind of explore that a little bit. I don't know if you've ever really had a chance to kind of articulate in that way, even if that's exactly where the music is coming from. And the question was never meant to kind of, where's the message? What's the message? I actually kind of had a feeling that that's where you might go, was maybe there isn't necessary, but it has to come from somewhere. And it's this notion that I really like exploring with creators, whether it's musicians or podcasters or whatever, like really artists, of there is nothing, and then there's something that conjures up in your soul, and then there's something that is coming through somebody's speakers, or it's painted onto a canvas or something. It's just this like compulsion, this thing that like moves us to create these things that I am fascinated with. And it's going to come from a different place, from different people, I think. And I was just kind of like, I found myself kind of just like in my chair here listening to you, and I think a lot of other people might have found themselves doing the same thing as you were exploring that a little bit. I'm just kind of like bouncing in my chair, like nodding, like even like you exploring where that comes from. I actually felt like that to me was hitting like music, actually, because I found myself like reacting to you talking to it as if I was listening to a tune, because it just like was like, it kind of gave like that actually came through your words in a same way that like, I'm like physically, my reaction was very similar to listening to your music, was listening to you talk about your music. I think that's fascinating.
I am the music. No, stop.
Well, exactly. Well, and I've talked to a couple musicians on this show, and certainly outside of the show as well. I just, like I said, I have a huge appreciation for any creator, especially for somebody who really dives into their craft. I feel like podcasting is about as close as I think that I could get to that, just because I've got hours under my belt at this stage. But like, I would love to have spent like a similar amount of time drawing or playing guitar or whatever it is. And whenever I get a chance to talk to somebody who has done that, who has lived that life, I feel like I find that there's a different like day to day to it. Even like when you say that you listen to music, I think that you listen to music, you probably listen to music differently. And I don't know if you like, okay, so like that kind of like, that makes sense to you to ask that question. Like, can you just like, how do you listen to music? An example, while to Vamp, just give you a second to think about this. Like one of the first iterations that this manifests, and I realized that musicians or some people seem to consume music in a different way, was back in high school. I remember this one guy, and he continues to this day, like his life is music. And the first thing that I noticed about him was on his Winamp, he had like 4,000 songs. And that was like, dude, like, what do you listen? And then back then that was an enormous amount of music that he had. And he just like, he was into music in a way that I just didn't comprehend it. Now, of course, as years have gone on, I would accumulate a tremendous amount of music too. But that was my first cue that there's something else here. So yeah, like how do you how do you listen to music? How do you consume that craft?
I've always, once I became a producer, because at first I didn't really want to become a producer. I was more focused on like the singing aspect of it, or like even like a different aspect of music. But when I became a producer, and there is an artist, he is a rapper called Tyler the Creator. He went
Right.
On a radio show, and he described this in a really good way, where he said that a lot of people will listen to music, but they'll listen for certain things.
Yep.
Like in his example, he said that he's listening for chords, like for really pretty or really nice chords. That's what he's listening for. If you get to somebody else, the first thing that they may try and listen to is drums. Someone
Yep.
else, like I would say probably the common consumer of music, would probably listen for lyrics first.
Sure. I would argue just production. I'd like some sort of like polish or sheen more than anything. Yeah.
And for me, it's funny because a lot of times I miss stuff the first time. So like I'll have to, or like sometimes I'll say a song is garbage the first time I listen to it. Then the second time I listen to it, I'm like, I love this song.
Mm-hmm.
So when I listen for music, I mean, honestly, I am listening for that kind of the vibe, like that feeling that you get, or like even the place that is taking you, which is why like I like music videos, but sometimes I don't like watching them because sometimes I want to like imagine the place myself. But
it's a book and movie situation. Do you rather read the book, or do you want to have the pictures kind of shown for you? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it works because there's one song that I really like. His name is Raleigh Ritchie, and he has a song called Time in a Tree. And like just the name Time in a Tree, you're like, kind of wouldn't make sense. But when you watch the music video, it's him in an elevator, like the older version of him in the elevator. And when he pushes the button, the doors close and they open, and it's a younger version of him. So when you like really get there, you're like, oh, it's about him growing up and how he just wishes that, like, you know, that stuff was still the same as back then. Like he didn't have to worry about stuff as much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But when I listen to music, I'm just kind of looking for that connection, or like the vibe, or just like something. I'm not gonna say something to grab onto, because I have my moments where I will listen for chords. Like certain chords will just like hit it off for me. I'm like, ooh, like I love this song now. Or like, shoot, even like certain wordplay. Like if someone makes a reference to like something I love, it'll make me want to listen to that song even more.
Yeah. Do you think I don't know if you brought up something that made me think about how long you and I have known each other, and you've completely morphed from the person that, you know, you're obviously still you, but like time has passed, and just reflecting on, there's a lot of stuff that has happened over the last couple of years. Like, how are you doing with, you know, life is different as you get older. Like, are you reminiscing? Are you missing the days of yesteryear, or are you okay with time is going on, you're growing up, life is changing? Like, how are you dealing with just like life progressing, man?
I have my moments where I'm like, I wish, like, you know, because I'm not gonna say I'm a full adult, because, you know, well, kind of, sort of, but
you're a grown man.
I have my moments where I wish.
I said you're a grown man, but really, you. Yeah. I'm just joking.
I'm a real boy.
I'm a boy.
But sometimes I have my moments where I'm like, I wish I was back in high school, because like, as much, and I feel like a lot of people have those thoughts, but they're like, I wish I was back in high school, because when you were in high school, you didn't have bills to pay. You didn't have to worry about this. You didn't have to worry about that. All you had to do was go to school, hang out with your friends for like half the day, basically, and then not do anything after that. I have my moments where I kind of wish I was back in college, even though I'm not gonna say I despise school, but I don't like, you know, school as much. But I miss me, you know, being able to hang out with my friends. And I mean, even me going up today, reminiscing with him, like it gave me kind of like that feeling of like, dang, like, you know, a lot of stuff happened. But something happened when I was like in college, like that first semester, or my first / last semester,
right?
Where I don't know if I've actually told the story before, but there's something in college where, or at least for the music major, called jury. Sum it up in short, throughout the entire semester, I'm learning different songs with a vocal coach just to get, so I can learn how to really use my voice in a more powerful way, all that type of stuff. But end of the semester, you have to do a jury. And the jury is basically you perform in front of like 3 to 4 people that are in the music major. Basically, if you do good, they pass you, you can go on to the next semester. If you don't do good, then they'll really sit there and talk to you like, look, we'll pass, like they may be like, we'll pass you on, but really think about it or really like put your heart into it. Or they'll be like, I don't think the music major is for you, and they'll kick you out the music major. I am not the best. Well, I used to perform in church all the time, but certain situations I don't like performing in front of people, especially in, I would consider that a somewhat high intensity situation where like, have 4 people that in a sense have whether or not I'm going to continue to do something I really like to do, so I was like really nervous, ended up passing out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, passed out. And it's funny because my dad didn't know that. And when I did this little interview a while ago, he had read it. And when he got to that part, he was like, you never told me about that. I was like, yeah. I was performing and passed out. And he was like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. I passed out. He was like, what? I was like, that's what it's like. All I remember was I was standing, singing. I stopped. Everything was black. And I was sitting in a chair. I don't know where the chair came from, but I was sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
So after that, like, I didn't want to be in college. I didn't want to do anything anymore. Plus the fact of like financial stuff ended up happening after that too. So it kind of also pushed me to be like, okay, yeah, I got to get away from school. But after like a lot of that happened, I have always been with this go with the flow attitude. Like I've always been a generally happy person and just like real chill person. Like that's always been me. But the vibe that I have right now, which is more of not to worry about tomorrow, not to worry about yesterday, not to worry about, like, I think about it, but not to worry too much about it, of being like, oh, I wish I was back then. Or, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, I'm more of a in the now person because I'm not going to say life's too short, but it really is.
Why not?
Life is way too short.
Life is too short, man. I think that's really important. And every single time I chat with you, it's like, man, just I feel like wise beyond your years is an expression I continue to come back to. I think you're absolutely bang on. You definitely maintain like this chill vibe, which I think is really important. And this why I think I asked about, the progression of time and seeing how our personalities can adjust, even if our core sense is there. Thinking about who we were, how we acted, and what energy we brought to the spaces that we occupied in the past versus now is something that I think about a lot. And especially when I wasn't in like a really great place, that's something that was like really, really immediately apparent to me. Was I used to bring light and brightness and energy to a room, and then I got to a point where I felt like I was sucking it out of the room. And I don't think I'm there anymore. Like, luckily, I think things are quite a bit better now. But there's a conversation I had.
I just want you to
What's that?
I smile every time I see you. I just want you to know.
Well, same here, man.
So much happiness into me.
Same here. I think that I wanted to kind of like hang on this for a second because I want to encourage you to like. I think being aware of it is like, it's got to be the first step. If you're going to like kind of lean into your strengths, which I think this is one of your strengths, you got to at least be aware that it is a strength. And I don't know that I was really quite aware of it until I had lost it. And I had started to do some reflection on like, oh, how were things before? And like, how was I in high school? I don't know that I miss like just like you, I don't miss like exams and like all the other kind of most of the stuff about high school or those years. But I remember the fun, and I remember just like laughing like crazy. And I think that's really important to remember because I want to do that more. And I don't think that there's really any reason not to like just keep laughing, honestly.
For sure.
I think that's super important. So like, yeah, it's this notion of what energy are you bringing to the room? And I think that you exemplify that through your music. It allows you to actually kind of like activate that all the time. And I don't know. I wanted to kind of like, big brother kind of encourage you to stick with that, man. Don't ever lose it. I had somebody recently encourage me to keep my young spirit going, because it's very easy to become curmudgeon, to become jaded. I remember speaking with a friend's parent, who was talking about how when they had first started dating, the husband, the dad of the friend of mine, he was a totally different person. He was like lively and joking and the life of the party, and now he's just kind of like the quiet, whatever. He kind of keeps to himself and those kind of things. And I thought, I actually understood it from one sense, but I also felt kind of like sad. I'm like, why do we reserve to that? Why do we shrivel up to that? Why not continue to be that joyful kind of person? I don't know. And to each their own, of course. But I don't know. I just don't know if that's as happy a life. And I don't know that it's just, I don't think that that's a given. I refuse to believe that that's an inevitable thing.
That's something that I kind of aspire to do as well, in a sense, is like to keep this joy that I have and to really make sure, because me being younger, like I see a lot of people, like even in just like relationships, friendships, all that type of stuff, where like they'll be with somebody and it just straight up takes their joy. Like they'll get around this person and then just be sad, just be like upset. It's like, why is this person here? Why are they breathing? You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't be like that. You really can't give. I always tell them like not to give somebody that type of power, because like you give them the power to really like take over your day, then not saying they're going to use it, but like it's not messing up nobody but you. You're the one that's affected by this. Like, is you have the control to sit there and be like, I don't care if they're in here, or like if they're here, whatever, cool. Like I'm still me. I'm still chilling. I'm vibing in my little corner by myself, and I'm gonna keep vibing in the corner by myself. But I just really aspire and just hope that whenever I do hit whatever ripe old age and I have all these, little youngins running around and stuff, that I am the same Johnathan that I am right now. So
you put a lot of focus into it, and I have no doubt that's going to be the case. The one, as I really always appreciate our conversations, because we can just kind of like circle around something for a little bit that I rarely get a chance to do. And this is probably the first kind of realization I've had on this note, which is I just mentioned that, back in high school, I was, super happy, always laughing, everybody around, we were all having a great time. That was awesome. But I also think it was easy to do that. Like, I had great family, and the school I went to was great, and the people around me were awesome. So it's like, of course, I was having a good time. As life goes on and things aren't quite as like handed to me, like it's not like I've got like I don't know, school is fun and the friends around me were great. And it's like, it becomes more and more challenging, and you have to put more specific effort into putting yourself in those situations. And I think that's really what it is, at least for me, is it's not quite a given anymore. And so you can kind of resign yourself to, I guess, life isn't as fun anymore. And I kind of refuse to accept that as time goes on, man, because we are all, I don't know, we're all in charge of what we're doing today, right now, man. Like this is what it's all about. So, and I love that this all kind of comes out of music too, It all comes out of our conversation about music, which I'm really, I've kind of talked about it on the show. We featured some of the music, and I'm going to steal some more of your tracks. I think just going to keep going with it, because I love the album so much. Just keep doing it. There's no reason to limit it at all. Well, let's do it. We'll keep doing it for the show.
I forgot how many tracks. 7? I think it's
13.
7.
No, wait,
12.
There's more than 7.
12.
Yeah, there you go.
7 was the first album. I think 7 was the first album.
See, I told you I listened to it, man.
Thanks.
I want to before I let you out of here, that we're recording this the day before the Nintendo Direct.
Yes,
it will not release to anybody until well after the Nintendo Direct.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which I think is fun to do. I want to talk about it, even though everybody's going to know what has happened since then.
Yeah, by that point.
What do you want to have happen? What do you think is going to happen? And hopefully, it's not putting you too much on the spot, as we are less than a day away from this thing.
Oh no, it's not. My friend just texted me today, and he texted me, and first thing he said was like, I think it's about time for another Fire Emblem. And I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if they did do another Fire Emblem.
Thank you.
What I personally, it's weird because I always go into these directs like not really expecting much. Like I'm always I'm just
probably
happy
smart.
if Nintendo gives me anything that I like. You
Yeah.
know, after very many Nintendo Directs of me just wanting a Bayonetta trailer. That's all I wanted. That's all I've been wanting was a Bayonetta 3 trailer. And then I get it, I'm like, okay, I can die happy. You know? And then even the same Direct giving me that amazing Kirby trailer. But what I
Yes, dude.
think is going to probably be in there is more than likely probably another Bayonetta trailer, possibly.
Yep.
I would
You
really
think,
want
do we
a
have a
release
date?
date. No, we don't have a release date. I
We
think
got to
it
get a
said
date.
2022.
I think so too.
I
Gotta
believe
get a
it's
date.
2022, but I believe that they're probably going to do a release date for Bayonetta, probably a release date for Splatoon. If not a release
Yep.
date, they'll probably
Same.
do just like another trailer.
Yeah.
And
At least a
then,
month.
yeah.
Like, yeah. My guess
Friggin',
was June. I also guessed we recorded the Nintendo Drive earlier. I also said Fire Emblem for the record. So we're bang on there.
yeah. Rybo, he had posted something because I think somebody had said something where they were like, what do you want? Or what's like one of the things he wants. And he said, which was a good point, that they were going to do a test fire in March. And I would not
I
be
forgot
surprised
about
if they
that.
did that. I forgot about it
Oh, that'd
too.
be so fun. Oh, no kidding. I forgot about the test fires. Yes, please. Oh my gosh,
So
dude.
hopefully if we don't get a trailer, or we'll probably get a trailer with the test fire, but if there is a trailer, hopefully a test fire. But
Oh my God.
honestly, I never really expect anything. I just want cool stuff from Nintendo, to be honest. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I just
All
want
right.
cool stuff
All
from
right.
Nintendo. And
That's
I
fair,
always
man.
my thing that I always want from Nintendo Directs is I want Nintendo to give me what I didn't know I wanted. Like, I didn't know I
Yes.
wanted
Yeah. Well
a
said.
3D Kirby platformer that looks
That's
so
right.
damn amazing. I didn't know I
Yep.
wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I want. It's just Nintendo to surprise me with stuff. And even if they don't surprise me, as long as my favorite franchise or a franchise I love shows up, I'm down.
What would Bobby say if he could hear the praise that is like almost universally being laid upon this Kirby game? Like, I'm saying it, you're saying it, we're all like, yes, this Kirby game looks
He
great.
would be so upset
Oh my
that
gosh, man.
Kirby's getting so much love. He would be so
Mhm.
mad. But I feel at
Yeah.
the same time, he would like very low key be excited about it. He'd be
I
like,
totally agree.
like by himself, he would be like, I'm ready for this game. But like on the outside, he'd be like, I hate Kirby, you know?
You know he would buy it. And the other thing too that makes me think about Bobby, of course. I mean, like really every time a Nintendo Direct happens, it's like
Oh yeah,
the world
for
is
sure.
a lesser place for not having a Bobby react to it. Like there's no
Mhm.
doubt in my mind that is the case, and that will just be the way that it goes from now on, unfortunately. But
For sure.
MLB the show on Switch, like he would have
I
just
seen
lost his
he
mind
would
about,
have
man.
flipped this shit. He
Yeah,
would have gone bananas.
man. But maybe I don't know. It all seems kind of like cosmic in a way too. That we all think of him
Yeah.
when this stuff happens, and I feel like in some way, like he still sees it. He's still with us to experience it.
For
He's just
sure.
not. I just can't talk to him about it. Which
Yeah. He's still, he's probably cussing somebody out right now.
Yeah, I
about
know. I feel like I'm gonna like bang into a table or something, or bump my knee, or close the door on my hand, or something like that. Just
Mhm.
that'll just be my little sign. Like he's still just kind of like he's right here. He's actually closer than he ever was before.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, now he can just mess with us, all of us. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't
I'm
do
sure-
that before.
I'm sure
Now
he
he
is.
can.
Yeah, he's just knocking things over, throwing my balance off, or waking me up in the middle of the night. I think about him a lot, man. And I often think about something that, we're coming up on a year with him passing away.
Yeah.
And I just, one realization I had back then that I still celebrate to this day was that so many of us know each other thanks to him. And when he passed, it was the community that he cultivated that were there for each other. And I just, that totally like circle is complete kind of, I don't know, narrative, the happenstance is so wonderful to me that he played such a key role in the love that we all had for him, but also who he was got us to know one another so that when he
Yeah.
was gone, we were there for each other. It's like, holy crap, man. That is like so damn beautiful. It's so great.
We are all here like to continue the legacy of it, you know? And going on that topic that you said, like him connecting all of us. Honestly, I think about that every single day.
Dude,
Like
yeah.
the fact that I am I am going to be going to James' wedding when me and James met each other through the internet.
Yeah,
Like we
man.
met each other because of Bobby, and now I
Mm-hmm.
can call him my brother. The same with you. I can call you my brother. You know, I get to call Carrie my mom. Like same with both the Joes. Like both of those are my big brothers. Like
Yeah.
like all the people, and it's so wild. Even with Aaron and
Yeah.
Tammy, like Nasty
Mm-hmm.
and Tammy, like both of them are like I love them so much, and
Yeah.
it's so crazy that like just the idea of it, like that I have friends in Canada, I have friends in the UK, I have friends in Ireland, I have friends. I mean, friends in other states isn't really that big of a deal in all honesty, but like I have a brother in Texas being Deuterino. Like I
Yeah,
have
man.
brothers and sisters, and just all y'all are like really my family, because like I can come to y'all with stuff and I know that y'all would really be there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And just the
Mm-hmm.
fact of that he has done this for all of us, like really given us a community and like just extended our family. Shoot, even his family, Dawn,
Dude,
his brother, his
Tony.
mom, like
Yeah.
all of them, like if we ever wanted to communicate with them, I know for the most part they will be there with open arms to really just talk to us,
Oh,
So
dude, I'm
it's
there. I'm definitely with you, man. And it's, you know what I think is like what I'm kind of take away from this conversation is like, and what you just said is that reminder that we are there for each other, that if we ever need to talk about something. And I think it's important to have that in, just like to keep thinking about that, to keep talking about that, to have that top of mind, because when you need it the most, you don't think that you have anybody to talk to. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like right now, like we're not necessarily in that space where we're going like, I don't feel like I have anybody to talk to. But if you're in like kind of a dark space, the things that are like right in front of you, the things that are most obvious, you're not exactly thinking in a rational space. And I've
yeah,
definitely found myself in, when things aren't the greatest, I feel like when I'm in that space where I'm like, I don't know if that I can go to anybody to talk to about this. And
mm-hmm.
you are reminding me that was actually kind of a dumb thought. Like that wasn't really that is not the case at all. I do have people in my life that I can go to with whatever the heck that thing is, man. And I'm sure, this isn't necessarily like a cry for like, hopefully somebody will say, I come talk to me. This is just, I like I said, I kind of like just reflecting on this kind of stuff with you, because I think it's important for me to say out loud, to remind myself. I'm glad that you continue to prompt me and guide me on this stuff. And I think it's also
Yes,
important for other people to hear. I think other people have found themselves in a space where they don't think they have anybody to talk to. And it's when we're maybe a little bit more clear-minded, maybe when we've had a good night's sleep or we had a great day.
yeah,
Those are the times where we start to like write letters to ourselves in a clear state of mind that we will read later when we're in a
mm-hmm.
not clear state of mind. I think that is so important, dude.
For sure, for sure. I'm telling you, this is for everybody out there listening right now. If you ever need someone to talk to, or you're in the down in the dumps and you just aren't feeling the best, I'm here. My DMs are open. I'm down to talk. I'm on all these social media platforms. Come hit me up. I'm down. I'll most definitely take the time out of my day to really talk to you and get you out of whatever rut you need me. I'll fight it. I'll fight it. Whatever it is.
JB, that's got to
I won't be
be the
done.
best way that we just roll right into this. Thank you, man, for carving out time tonight. I want to like just keep going with that. If people do want to be in touch with you and then also find your music, why don't you go tell the
Hell
good
yeah.
people on the internet where they can get a hold of you, man?
All right, look, boom. So you can find me Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Facebook too. I don't really use it, but I'm there. PME.jib, all streaming platforms, PME. You can go stream my newest, project, In My Element. I just did 2 interviews, one with Voyage Raleigh, which is a little online magazine, and the second with my cousin. I just dropped today, funny enough. And she made her chicken and waffles recipe inspired by my music. So please go check that out. It's on my social media. You'll be able to find it. Go run up her followers too at the Big Yellow Pot on Instagram. Yeah, that's it.
Nice, man. Johnathan, you send me all those links. I'll make sure all of them are in the show notes. People can just click on the YouTube video or the in the description or in the podcast, whatever. Click on all the things. Johnathan Brown, I love you, man.
I love you too.
You bring so much to my life, and I am grateful forever for just coming to know you, my friend.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've really put a huge focus. What am I saying the last couple of weeks? The last, forever. Really put a focus on community. Community first. I don't think that we've really been chasing a whole lot else other than to say we want to make the Yumi Capri, the Discord, the shows, everything that touches all this stuff, make it a place where people feel welcome, where friendships can happen, where anything can happen, really. Johnathan Brown is an excellent example of that. The BackTrackers is an excellent example of that. Remember, play Spiritfarer. Join us March 5th, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Play it. And speaking of friendships, speaking of anything can happen in this Discord, back when it was Bobby and I doing the Make Us Better days, Nasty Boots and Tammy, they met. I remember when Tammy joined the Discord and it was like, oh my goodness, a woman is here. It was amazing. And Nasty moved on in, and now they're engaged to be married. And these are the two that I was talking about at the beginning of the show with their brand new YouTube channel, Game Nasty. With the video, I finally made my girlfriend play Resident Evil, and what I thought I would do is actually close the show with the first couple of minutes, just the audio of that video, because I think it's so well done. I want you guys to get a little bit of a taste. Go find it. I'll put the link in the show notes as well. Go click it. Go subscribe. Let's keep the growth moving for these guys, because they're really just a beautiful couple. Amazingly done on this first video, so I think that's going to be it for me. Follow me on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Fair warning on, there's a blip on this in this audio, a couple S words in a row, but I think it's hilarious. Tammy, Nasty, you guys are amazing. Thank you guys all for listening. Thank you, Johnathan Brown, for joining me. And we're going to do, instead of the Jason thing, usually we close the show out with Jason. We'll just, we'll have this, and then that'll be it. And I love you guys. You're amazing. And we'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.
Resident Evil, I have to say, is probably the most important gaming franchise in our relationship.
Are you only saying that because on our first date you made us play Resident Evil 2 on the Dreamcast after I flew all the way to Ireland?
See, and that's a special memory.
And somehow you've come out with this tradition that anytime a Resident Evil game comes out, we have to stay up and I have to watch you play it until I pass out.
And we cherish our special times, don't we?
Right. Okay, I suppose you're wondering why I always sit on the sidelines. It's pretty simple. I just can't play horror games.
I find this really strange because you love horror movies and it's automatically your first choice. But when it comes to horror games, he absolutely crumbles.
Well, put it like this. I like movies on Ouija boards. It doesn't necessarily mean that I play with one.
Touché.
You put the horror in my hands and I'm a very different woman. Also, me and Resident Evil have history. When I was about 7 years old, I remember putting Resident Evil 1, that shiny black demo disc, into a neighbor's PlayStation, and the game scared the shit clean out of me. The Resident Evil voice, I shit myself. The opening full motion video, I shit myself. The doors opening, I shit myself. And by the time I get to the turning zombie, I threw down the controller and vowed to never dip another toe into this series ever again.
I have tried on many occasions to get her to play some sort of horror game, trying to tell her that they're just games and they're just fun.
Fun? Fun?
Yes.
Self-induced anxiety attacks?
Yes.
I don't think so.
And then something happened. I was playing the Resident Evil 8 demo and I heard a voice say,
I think I might just play this.
So, here's the story of my non-horror gaming fiance's journey into her first full playthrough of a Resident Evil game. Here is Mrs. Nasty.